So big welcome to all of you, and thank you for coming to this meeting about KI and the mentorship course that I want to talk about. I want to talk about a little bit about KI, the method itself, because I see that many of you came to this meeting, and I don't know all of you. I can see that I met a couple of you one-on-one or during a clarity call. And I know that some of you are interested in the mentorship course also, because I've been talking with you about the difference between the one-on-one sessions, like being only facilitated, and between the mentorship course. Yeah, because I'm sure you heard Scott talking about, if you come from the members area, I'm sure you heard Scott talking about the restructuring that we've been going through, and we've been doing some refreshment on the side regarding KI and the members area structure, and everything is moving towards more like a mentorship style. Because if you know KI already, a big part of it, or the approach of KI and even facilitation, is to transfer the tools and the method to you, for you to gain skills and understanding regarding the work and how to do it. So after a while, you are able to self-facilitate, because for those who are newer to this method, KI is not really like a therapy method, or it's not like coaching or anything like this. It's more like a somatic, or like an emotional, let's say an emotional, somatic or emotional processing method that helps with stuckness and with unconscious programs that holds us back from expressing ourselves and our emotions and whatever is within us to express it. And there are blocks to it, and KI works with it mainly to free up these emotions and the thought processes that we have since childhood, different thought processes running through the emotions that makes us hold back these emotions and different aspects within ourselves. And so KI is a somatic processing method that helps to make these repression mechanisms, these thought processes, conscious. So in that way, it can kind of like free up, and it helps to, in that way, to come out of this self-repression, like emotional self-repression, something like this, this self-repression of not fully being ourselves, but trying to stay safe, trying to be someone else on the outside. So it's all forms of repressing our authentic self unconsciously because of unprocessed childhood traumas, and because of our relationship with our mom and dad, or with those who lived with us closely when we were children, because that's the time when we mainly received our programming from the people around us. And basically we did everything to stay safe with them, to try and stay safe with them. So that's why the conditioning came alive in our bodies, to keep us protected and safe in our family and with our mom and dad. It's more like a survival mechanism. I think it's there to some degree for everyone who comes to this earth, let's say, and born into a family, let's say, because it's just so human, and it's just so inherent, as if it comes with birth. So it goes very deep, this survival and repression mechanism that runs through our body, our thinking, our being, and we are deeply identified with it. That's why it's very important to make these unconscious mechanisms within us conscious. And for me, it feels, since I've been staying with KI for 3 years now, coming from a very traumatic background as a child, from childhood, it's like, for me, it feels as if, how to say it, If I look back how I was like maybe like 3 years ago, I can't compare the experience to how it was before starting with KI and how it is now. Like, for example, before starting this method and learning to self-facilitate myself on these deep issues, I couldn't, for example, like talk like this, like talking like face to face, so to speak. And I couldn't really express myself because I was so anxious. I was so tensioned. I had a lot of mental health issues, really bad. I couldn't focus, like ADHD, CPTSD. I couldn't focus. I couldn't speak. I couldn't be present. I was always into thinking. I was always into escaping energetically. And I had a lot of like excruciating pain in the body with colon inflammation and some other stuff. And some other issues like financial issues, relationship issues. So the list was long. That's what I want to say. And now it's very different. Physical pain, there is not much in the body. Only when I open something deeper, then something comes to the surface, but that's normal also. But like chronic physical pain is not that much anymore, and the anxiety is also less. If I could put it on a 10 scale, then it was like 10 or like 1,000 before starting KI, and now it's more like between 0 and 4, depending on where I'm within the process or in the work. So that's about KI. And probably you already know, but I can see that the group is very mixed. So I also want to say a little bit about KI, why it is a somatic processing method, and why it is important that it's not working only with the emotions in the body, but also it's working with the unconscious programming, which are directly connected with the emotions in the body, like something like this. It's because, for example, I wasn't aware of my anger repression and my power repression under that, self-expression mainly, because so I had the feeling that I kind of like repressing the anger because I couldn't express myself the way I wanted to express myself, and I couldn't get angry in different situations. I couldn't set a boundary, so in a way I just couldn't express the anger, but I couldn't really release the anger or express it or something like this. I tried to go to those somatic experiencing groups and tried different methods and group setting also. But whenever the teacher said to release the anger, to welcome it and then release it and free up this anger, etc., my experience was that I just couldn't do this. So my experience with the anger was, and it was mainly unconscious, that I want to express it, but I can't. I'm stuck with the anger. And anger is my primary repression. So that's the aspect that I repress the most. And of course, everything is buried under that. So I wanted to access it. I wanted to heal in a way. I wanted to free up my experience. But my experience was that time that I just couldn't. I'm stuck and I'm sick. And so KI helped me to see that it's not just the emotion of anger in the body, but it's also unprocessed traumas and programming under the anger or connected to the anger. And I could remember after starting using KI that when I was 3 years old, I had the first experience in my life when I got angry because of something. I was playing with something and I couldn't make it. And I started to express my anger. And then my mom turned away from me and hit me, said some things. So I got frozen. And in that moment, the programming came alive in my body because what I felt was like unmanageable for me as a little kid. And so my mind started to say, of course, I wasn't aware of that as a little kid. It was just automatic. But the mind started to say, like, don't show this anger because then you lose the one who you love. And I needed my mom. and you are going to get hurt. So this programming, unconscious programming, started to come alive into my body whenever I started to feel the anger after that. And I could even remember that after that, whenever I felt the anger, this conditioning came alive in my body, like, look around, did anyone see that I got angry? So this thought process got embedded in my body mind, like, don't get hurt, don't express the anger, and things like this. And over time and over the decades, it just became like, I think, a part of my behavior, or that was the thing that was running my behavior of, I just didn't show, whenever I felt the anger, I just didn't show this, like, I'm sure you can relate, or some of you can relate to that conditioning, like, don't show this, something like this. And I just became like the peaceful, nice Serena, always people pleasing, being nice, the anger didn't even show up anymore. I mean, it showed up as the colon inflammation and the pain in the belly because of the repression and the contraction that I created through this conditioning, something like this. So that's what we call story within KI, like this unconscious programming, seeing this, working with this. That's a kind of like the story, the programming that can be made conscious even through the mind, That's the first step within KI, and of course through that we can go deeper and deeper, and we can open deeper and deeper layers of this repression mechanism of not showing the anger through the repression inquiries, which is a deeper aspect of KI and newest and most fresh aspect of KI that can just go straight to the repression, this mechanism. It can go down to the commands, like, which in my case said, like, don't show this, hold back, hold the anger back, don't show this, stay safe. And so it can go down to the root of all this repression, which is fear of the experience, fear of expressing the emotions, fear of losing mom and dad, fear of being disconnected from them, because the eternal reason of not expressing ourselves and our emotions is because we don't want to lose mom and dad for different reasons. And because it started in childhood, for the child, it's like losing mom and dad and being disconnected from them is like the scariest thing. It's like death for the child. So that's the root of the repression mechanism. I think for all of us, this frozen fear of losing mom and dad and being disconnected and alone, and the fear of getting hurt, even, like, it's all about hurt. And so okay, I can guide you through these layers because we have the tools to open each layer of this repression mechanism. And so what I wanted to talk about today is that we have to learn the tools, the actual tools of KI, of the Kilo-B inquiries, to be able to access and process all these layers of our repression. Layers, not like, don't think with the mind, it's just the layers of experience. In a way, it's like a bubble, it's like just going deeper and deeper into the same conditioning and fear in a way. And so with these somatic processing methods, we can process deeper and deeper layers of those experiences that created emotional self-repression in the first place. And we can have this missing experience finally, like processing something, like mom turns away from me. And so I didn't have the experience. That was a missing experience for me also, that something happens, mom turns away from me, and then I'm just stuck, frozen. So in my entire life, I felt that I had been collecting experiences, but the actual experience of processing something, that something happens, I feel something, it's allowed, and then it's gone, and I come back to normal, let's say, it was a missing experience for me. And because we have this missing experience of processing the thing that makes us freeze, is that's why we need KI. That's why we need good skillful somatic and presence-based somatic processing method, which is KI, the Kilo Bee Inquiries. And so the very important aspect of KI is the tools and self-facilitation, that you have to learn self-facilitation, because it's just not possible that the facilitator is always there for you whenever something comes up for you, you know? It's like KI has to be a regular practice. Same with yoga, you know, like when you start to practice yoga, it's like your body is tense in the beginning, you know, so you have to get used to it. You have to do it every morning or every other day, something like this, so body can get used to the asanas and the practices. And over time and practice, your body becomes, or even your mind with yoga becomes more and more open, and you get used to the flow, and you get used to the practices. You have a regular practice, and it doesn't feel a practice after a while. It just becomes a part of your daily life, and your body just starts to love it. And yeah, something like this. So same with KI, that over time, as you learn to self-facilitate and as you learn the method, it becomes a part of your consciousness. That's my experience too, that it just became a part of my consciousness because of the unprocessed things, and because I didn't know how to process and let go, it became a part of my consciousness and my experience. But for this, I also had to learn KI and stay with the work and stay with the tools and even staying connected with others. And yeah, so a huge aspect of KI is learning the tools, and that's why we focus more with Scott and the team on creating a mentorship-based members area, and also a pass or something like this, you know, or on an approach regarding KI that can support you in learning the tools and the skills and the method. And the difference between one-on-one sessions and the mentorship course is that facilitated session cannot give you this fully. Facilitated sessions, there are like practical differences also, but it's mainly like, in my eyes, you know, it's mostly for you to get used to the tools, get familiar with it a little bit to see if that's what you want, or just getting curious about it, you know, like having a couple of sessions and then you feel, wow, that's the track, I'm on the right track, that's the path for me, it really works for me. So you want to learn the tools. And when this energy comes up through the facilitated sessions, that I want to learn the tools because it works for me and I really want to embody KI and the tools, then I guess it just naturally comes up, you know, as it came up for me also before I did the training, that, wow, I just want to learn it inside out because it just works in my system. And so usually when this energy comes up that that works for me and I want to learn this, that's when I say to my clients, like, maybe it's a good point just to start the mentorship now, because something is coming up. There is a natural need in your being, you know, to learn this method and to really embody the tools for yourself. And also, if you start the mentorship course, then there is less dependency on the facilitator, because we come from a culture of therapy, something like this. We come from a culture that is therapy based. So it naturally comes that we depend a little bit on the facilitator or something like this. We got used to this because that's in our culture. But with the mentorship, there is less chance for that because you learn it for yourself. I have to say it, the power can come up for you more and more as you learn the tools and you learn to self-facilitate, and you see that you don't really need others to do that, right? And I'm not saying like we need each other, right? It's also a big part of the mentorship course that we stay connected. You stay connected with other mentees and trainees. You receive different sessions, you know. You go to other groups, you connect with other trainers, facilitators. So it's a huge part of KI that staying connected and exchanging with others, it's really very important. So I'm not saying like, oh, now I'm alone and I don't need anyone. It's like you really have to use all the aspects of the mentorship course for it to really be effective for you. And yeah, but my experience that I also feel like less and less dependent on others. I less and less feel that I need others to process, because I don't. I still have sessions. I love to have a session with Toshi, because it's just so good to connect when we work with like painful traumas. That's so human. There is no problem with it, but I don't depend on him. Like, oh my God, I just need him because I don't know what to do, you know? And so mentorship can help with this. And I'm going to mentor you to give you the skills, the tools, to transfer the tools and the method for you. And so then you can do it on your own. That's the main goal of the mentorship course for me, is that you reach a level of understanding somatically, that you can self-facilitate. And yeah, so that's the difference between one-on-one and one-on-one sessions and mentorship course. That one-on-one sessions can be a good starter. It can introduce the tools to you. And when you feel that you really want to learn it inside out because it works for you, then you have to move on to the mentorship course. Yeah, because it's just not possible to teach everything within 60 minutes, and we don't even have to, because with the mentorship course, and I'm looking at my notes, you receive much more than with the facilitated sessions. Facilitated sessions are 60 minutes. It's about me facilitating you, so you can like bring up something, you can catch up with the tools a little bit, have to make the unconscious thoughts and emotions conscious, so you can grasp it a little bit. And that's already empowering, of course, because it happens through you, so there is some understanding comes with that. But if you really want to learn it, then mentorship is highly recommended by me. And yeah, so the group mentorship gives you a lot more. It also gives you, and now I want to talk about the group mentorship that starts in March. The group mentorship will be like, you will receive the online curriculum of 20 hours of videos, graphics, and different material. This is an online teachable course. It's totally different than the members diary. It's something completely different. It's me, Toshi, and Alina who created this course, and it's very good because there are a lot of videos, but not long videos, and so you can stay with the tools one by one if you want. Intentional rapid fire, mind body mirroring, respacing, and different inquiries and inquiry approaches, and you can listen to it again and again if you need it to download the information into your body, let's say. And so you can practice it on your own also. So the online curriculum is a very important aspect of the mentorship course. And it's also very important that we meet every other week. So you are going to receive like 8 2-hour sessions, group sessions with me, and it's going to be limited to 4 people, which is very important for me because I wanted to do 5 people, but now I want to do only 4 people because I really want to have enough time and space to facilitate you guys and also give you context, and for you also to have time to ask questions if something is not clear. But I really want it to be a practice group that I can facilitate you and show you through facilitation and explanation while facilitating how it works in your body, and to see if something is not clear for you. So it's not just facilitation, but also giving you the understanding, somatic understanding regarding how KI works in your system. And for this, I need time. We still live in this matrix, so we need time to transfer the tools to you. So that's why it's limited only to 4 people. And I guess it's also easier to be in a small group because, yeah, you just can't hide. When we are a small group, like a family, you can't hide, or even if you are afraid of asking questions or not going into something, I can help you with this because it's just natural inherent resistance and fear, and that's completely okay. So we can be like a small family working together to learn the tools, and I guess it's much more easier for you also. I also feel much more relaxed and comfortable in small groups than huge open groups, and then I don't know how to catch up with others. And also in a small group, we can get to know each other, very easily within a short while. So, and the other advantage of the small group that you can really become friends and support each other because you are going to learn the skills and the tools, so you can also facilitate each other, not just maybe first with the group mates, but also later in the members area, finding friends, opening more to other people. And you can find your KI buddies, friends, you can exchange and facilitate each other. And that's like very important with the mentorship course. It's like the core of the core to stay connected with me and others, So you have a supportive net who understands you in a deeper way, because they also know KI, so that's different. Because this supportive net, I can't give you. It's not me who's going to give you everything. It's more like this supportive net and exchanging with others and staying connected that gives you this feeling of support and safety, so you can go deeper in your processing with KI. Because we are going to meet traumas, hard stuff. And of course, over time, it just becomes easier to meet these things. But initially and for a while, we need others also to feel safe in this process. And that's like totally normal. But that's just the phase of the process. So yeah, you are going to receive like the online curriculum. You are going to receive these 2 or 2.5 hours session every other week. And also I provide like 1 monthly group meeting for my trainees and mentees. The group is based on the same thing, practicing, me facilitating you asking questions, and also you can even facilitate each other, so I can understand more where you are not understanding the tools. You are going to see my trainees facilitating each other, and that also can give you a lot of understanding. So that monthly group meeting also based on practice and understanding. Yeah. You are also going to receive within the group mentorship 3 one-on-one sessions with one of my private trainees. Trainee means that they are working towards becoming a facilitator. So they are deep in the process and they've been with KI for a while. And you are going to receive also like 6 months access to the members area if you are not a member yet. And it's also possible to have discounted sessions with me if you need it. It's not a must. And believe me, it's not 100% that you are going to need it. I don't think that you are going to need it if you really take advantage of all the aspects of the mentorship course, like the curriculum, the monthly meeting, other meetings in the members area, because you are going to have access to that, the 3 sessions with my trainees, and all these aspects and support pillars of the mentorship course. Then you don't really need more sessions with me. But again, if you need it, I give discounted sessions for my trainees and mentees during the period of the course. And also another thing is like you can stay in touch with me also, because I'm going to be your mentor. So I will help you to stay on track or something, because the resistance, the avoidance, the bypassing, or not being sure sometimes what I have to do here when the trauma comes up, or you don't know, sometimes you need to get in touch. You can reach me via email, And it's also possible when, for example, you don't know what to do with something, you don't know what inquiry to use. In the beginning, it can be there. Then you can send me like one WhatsApp message per week. I know it sounds not much, but believe me, it's a lot, because you are going to receive a lot of support. So having a message with me, it's like my trainees, they don't really use it, let's say, yeah, because they are in the flow of this circle of mutual support. That's how I call it, circle of mutual support. And yeah, that one WhatsApp message, if you really need it, it can be one per week. And if you want to send me a voice message, I usually ask my trainees and mentees to limit it to 2 minutes. And it's because it's very good for you also, because initially they send me like long messages, like 10 minutes talking about just what happened to them, etc. And I lost track sometimes, listening to long messages. So I ask them to, before you send the voice message, can you just speak it out for yourself so you can focus the energy a little bit on what you want to ask and say, like that's the issue and I don't find a solution at the moment, so I can respond to that quickly or quicker. Yeah, and it's same with me when I something is not clear for me and I send a message to Ina or Scott or Toshi or the team and friends. Then first I think about that, I feel into it a little bit and I formulate the question and then I send it to them, so it's much more clearer than just trying to figure it out. And minutes just pass as I record the message, and I still don't know what I want to say or ask. So that's why I limit it to 2 minutes per voice message. And to my trainees now, that's a lot, because they learn to focus what they want to ask. Yes. So that's what you are going to receive through the group mentorship that starts in May. And yeah, and to take the most out of it, as I already said, you really have to participate and take advantage of all aspects and support pillars of the mentorship course. Yeah, group sessions, I'm looking at my notes, group sessions, online course, members area meetings, one-on-ones with my trainees, exchanging with others, etc. And then you are really in the work, in the flow, in the learning, and you don't depend on me that much. Okay, so that's the end of my notes here. I think that's what I wanted to say about this course. And let's see if something else comes to my mind. Yeah, I think that's all for now. Yeah, and if you have any questions, I think that's the time now that if you have any question regarding KI or the course or whatever comes to your mind, please just ask. It's not a must, but if you have any questions, just please ask.
Is this the first time you're doing this mentorship in this format?
Yes and no. I did facilitator training in the past, small group facilitator training, but we don't have facilitator training anymore. Now the structure is a little bit different. Now you had to do the mentorship course first, and later, if you feel that you want to become a facilitator, then you can do that course also, but it comes later. They are not that separate. It's just, it doesn't make sense. We realize that it doesn't make sense to start with facilitator training when someone just starting to get familiar with KI.
Okay, but basically, in other words, this sort of format of these small groups is not the first
No,
time it's
no,
been done? No.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I even had bigger groups, but after that I realized that I prefer small group when it comes to KI, especially with the repression inquiries. And now you know why, because we had session. Yeah. Okay, question in the chat from M French. How long is the course? So it's going to be like 8 group sessions every other week. It means that it's 4 months long officially. But of course, after that, you can just stay in the process, in the work. You can come to the monthly meetings, my monthly meetings. It's a lifetime access for you to come to my monthly meetings with my trainees and mentees. Yeah, but officially, it's transferred to you within 4 months through 8 sessions. And the cost is, I have to check it, give me a moment. Yeah, it's here. So the small group mentorship course is 1,599. The one-on-one mentorship course is 2,299. So now we are talking about the group mentorship. It's again like $1,599, and you can pay in 3 installments. 3 installments, yeah. Yeah, and I also want to give you a link where you find also details, so you can check it after this meeting also. I just put it here in the chat, so you can go through the practical details on this website. So just save this website for later. Yeah. Yeah.
What day and time of the month are the monthly meetings?
Yeah, so I check on the website. It's every other Monday at 8 a.m. PS.
No, not the group, sorry, the monthly that you have with your training as
Okay.
well. Yeah.
Okay, give me a moment. I have to check it. Yeah. Yes, so it's Tuesdays. It's February 20, March 12, May 7, June 4. Yeah.
And what time?
9 a.m. PST.
Okay, okay.
So it's in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. And another question, are those 8 bi-weekly meetings, are they going to be recorded?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay, but just for the members.
Or only for the small group, yeah.
Okay. And the monthly meetings too?
Yes, of course. Yes.
And one last question, the manuals and videos, is it what's kind of available in the members area anyway, or is it
No,
some
it's a
material?
completely different
Okay.
material. It has to do nothing with the members area. We created a mentorship course, a teachable course with Alina, Toshi, and myself. It's completely different. It's really about teaching the tools and different videos. We recorded different videos. It has to do nothing with the members area. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good because for me it's I always feel I'm missing context and to have more manual. I mean,
Yeah,
it can also be a landing, but still it's kind of nice to.
Yeah, so it's a more focused channel, the mentorship course, and I also have a private group in the members area. No one can see that, for my trainees and mentees. So there I share stuff regarding KI, and these videos are not shared in the members area, like the public flow and chats. So it's different. There is a much more focused learning within the mentorship course in that way. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you, Sigurd. Sigurd, I'm not sure if I pronounce your name perfectly. Sigurd. You're welcome. The work I do is, it comes out of, you know, it comes out of love because I'm really, I think I just fall in love with KI deeper and deeper as I stay with the work. And yeah, I don't know, when I talk about KI, I just feel this deep love and appreciation because it pulled me out of a deep dark hole, let's say, or something. I'm sure you can relate, guys, you know, unconsciousness, I mean, and suffering. And so now when I started to talk about it, this love of the work and gratitude came up in me also, because I remembered the time when I did the training with Scott and I really merged deep in KI. And I don't know, just this love and gratitude came up in me, you know, because it was just, I just loved that time, you know, of really diving deep in KI, and just, I was so much in the work, you know, and I was learning it and I felt better and better. And remembering that time, I just felt deep gratitude. And it was like a special time for me also to having this relationship with Scott of this support or something. We became even friends after a while. And I also like this getting to know other people also, because exchanging with others, facilitating each other, I just got to know a lot of people, and I got friends through this work and through the training. And it was just a very special time for me. And yeah, and now we have all of it because we have the members area. It's so precious for me also. And yeah, it's something very precious and intimate for me also in the members area, that we can have this, because we work with repression here, right? So it's not easy also to work with repression and to bring up all those unconscious beliefs and suffering within us. Of course, we become freer and freer, but of course, this work is challenging in a way. And now having this intimate forum where we can connect with each other and support each other, it's something like really precious for me. Because when I did the training and when I met Scott, we didn't have this. I had only Scott, you know, and later I got to know other people, but we didn't have members area. We didn't have anything. It was only me and Scott. And you know how I met Scott? I was just like, I felt very shitty. And I was like, God, send me someone who can help me with this because I can't help myself. And the next day he popped up on my Facebook and I didn't know anything about him. I didn't know that he was popular in the US or a teacher or anything like this. It was just a guy sitting in a dark room and speaking. And it just deeply resonated with me, you know? And it was deeply resonated with me. He started to ask questions and I just felt this deep resonance, and I had a lot of questions because he was speaking out why I was suffering. And he also shared the solution to that, for that. And so from then on, I just started to ask a lot of questions. We got in touch on WhatsApp and via email, and yeah. And after a while, we had this members area, which is quite new. And that's like, I don't know, being there from the beginning and see how the members area came alive, bring this community together to support each other in the work is something very special for me because we didn't have it back then. So it's just, even when it's not perfect yet and we are restructuring through our own process, you know, seeing what's needed there and seeing what you guys need to really learn KI. So it's still in the process to create this members area in its perfect shape or something. Yeah, but it's still like perfect for me, you know, because I know where we started and where we are now with this. Yeah. Yeah, Benjamin is saying something. I'm curious how you encourage mentees to work with backlashes if they arise when going deep into 3D work. Backlashes, you mean we are not going to go into the work itself here because it's not about that, but it depends on who it is, you know, and backlashes is a natural part of the repression work, you know. It's like, because if you don't know KI yet, you believe that backlashes are something bad, or you don't know what's happening, you know. After, for me also it happens, you know, when something deeply shifts within me, and then I feel like so empty, like, oh, coming back to original or something. And then maybe the next day I have this backlash and the fear comes into the system. The thing that I learned comes back, and that's just normal. So I just got used to it now, you know, and I know what to do with it, how to bring it into lighter inquiry to make it conscious, and then it can relax, you know. So of course I guide them one by one, but it's not like it's not a big thing if you know how to work with it. It's not a big thing if you know how to approach it and how to bring it into inquiry and how to inquire into it to open it. So then the resistance towards the backlash itself and the reaction. Backlash is mainly, if I can put it like this, it's like a reaction to the change itself, because the shifts that you experience with the work is the change in your life and in your body and on a human level in the long term. So it's normal to have backlashes when you have these shifts and change within your body and in your life and in your personality. It's just that you have to recognize that it's happening, and you just have to learn, I guess, also learn what to do with it. So then it doesn't feel like it's a bad thing or something that has power over you or something like this. It just naturally happens in your system. Yeah. I'm not going to guide any 3D work here because I'm going to publish this video on my Facebook page also. So I don't want to share like deep work here, but I just want to talk and share about it in a more general way. I hope this answer was satisfying for you. Okay. Benjamin says yes. Good. Yeah. So again, when you do KI and if you stay with the work and you build a regular practice, you get to know your body, your somatic emotional experience, and your functioning better and better and better by making the unconscious conscious. Basically, that's what we do here. We work. So yeah, with the mentorship course, you learn that, you know, and it becomes clearer and clearer for you what happens in your system, and you make the unconscious thought processes and the unconscious emotions and repressions in your body, you open them, you make it conscious, and it will become clearer and clearer and clearer how your body mind works, how the somatic system of yours works, you know, as you open it more and more. And that's a very important part of it, that it will become clear for you what your body mind has been doing. And you will also see the change if you stay with the work and you learn the skills and how to approach it. So it doesn't feel anymore that you are just trying to cope in the dark or something and you just suffer your experience, because I guess we suffer our experience because we don't know what's happening, right? And so then there is just resistance It just kicks in, resistance towards the experience. And then we suffer because we don't know what to do. And we just suffer our experience because it's unconscious. We cannot connect the mind, thoughts, the emotions. We cannot connect them. We don't even see them. It's completely in the unconscious, or mostly in the unconscious. But with KI, you learn to bring it into the front, and you learn how to make it conscious. And so you don't have to repress it again. It takes some time to learn that, to learn the tools to make the unconscious conscious, so you don't have to push it back and just suffer anymore. But you learn to unrepress yourself. And after a while, you won't go into, if you really stay with the work and have a regular practice, then it's really hard to go back to the old ways of just repressing and suffering my experience, because it becomes a part of your consciousness, and you just know how to learn the tools, how to open it and make it conscious, what's happening in your body mind, so you don't have to just go into repression and suffering instantly. So that's why the mentorship is very effective in that way. Yeah, because a big part of suffering is that we don't know what's happening again. And so we just repress. Yeah. Yeah. Renee, you don't need to raise your hand. Just talk, please, if you want.
I didn't want to interrupt. When I came here, there was a mentorship facilitatorship program. I've been here, it'll be 2 years this month, and it was completely different than what we're doing now. But the part that is similar, and Serena was here then, of course, is getting together in a small group, and how powerful and meaningful that was for me. It took everything that was not making very much sense to me when I first got here and put it all in an order that helped me understand how each of the tools worked, and then be able to bounce that off of other members that were here, and we all exchanged our information. So we got to talk to each other, like Serena was saying, but not hearing from anybody that's been through it. I just thought I'd say something. You can always reach out to me in direct message here if you want to know anything else from my experience. I'm happy to share that, and just how great Serena is. She's not offered me anything for being here. I just I just wanted to see her and hear about the new mentorship piece. But it's really a great way to learn if you're having any issues or struggling with what's going on. And right now we're in such a big reorganization. It's challenging sometimes for those of us that have been here for a while. So thanks, Serena, for everything you always do for us and support us. I so appreciate you and love you. And good luck to everybody here.
And I love you too. And yeah, thank you for being here from the beginning also, since you started this forum. Yeah. Yeah, something was in my mind when I was listening to you. I just felt that, yeah, it just came to my mind because you said we started with small groups, because we had only a few members in the beginning. So the groups were small, not like this, like you go to Scott's meeting and sometimes 40 people are there. So it was only small group when we started it in the beginning. And so what came to my mind is that when you start to do this work, it's for a while, the resistance can be very strong to do this work, even though you feel better and better and you feel things shift and you feel every time better when you make something conscious. Something's clearer. I also felt lighter in the body, and it was just better. Everything just got better, but still the resistance, and to avoid going into the pain and process it. And I know that I feel better if I process something. Still the resistance and the avoidance, self-sabotage in a way to do the work can be very strong. And it's just really very supportive to have a supportive net of KI bodies and the mentor around you, during this period of getting used to the work, having a regular practice, it's just really, really supportive and can help you through this phase of resistance and avoidance. And later on, you just learn how to work with avoidance and bypass, and it just becomes a feeling in your body, and you will just know how to work with it. It's not going to be a big thing anymore. But in this phase, when you really dive deep into this work, it's really good to stay in touch with us, you know. And yeah, and that's also something that's hard with only through facilitated sessions, through one-on-one sessions, because I think it's harder with one-on-one sessions to stay in the work. You have to have like a lot of presence and consciousness and earnestness to stay in the work only through one-on-one sessions as a somewhat beginner or someone who is just diving deeper into it, because it's not giving you this kind of net of support, you know, something like this. And yeah, because, you know, when you learn KI, it's not just the support through us that comes to you that helps you to stay in the work, but it's also that you learn, because KI is a conscious presence-based somatic processing method. So you work with the stuff in your body, the painful stuff in your body, sometimes not that painful, but you learn to be this container, a safe container for yourself, which is like this conscious presence or awareness that holds the experience that all the pain or the repression, different feelings in your body that you work with. You become the safe container for this process, to feel and process all these things within yourself, you know, to meet all these things and connect with it. For me, it's like a safe container of presence, this unconditionally holding space and loving space, something like this. I don't know how to put it into words exactly, but you also learn that, or I don't know, experience that with KI, that you are the safe container for your experience. So then it's easier to stay with all of this thing and to stay in the process. So you see, it's all connected with the mentorship course. It comes from outside, it comes from the inside. So you will find support everywhere while working with the challenging things within yourself. Something like this. Yeah. Yeah. And the presence-based, like it happens through this conscious presence or awareness that's holding the experience. And it helps, you know, because then you are less identified with what's coming up in you. You just recognize everything as you, in a way. That's the part that's hard to talk about for me, you know. And you just connect everything within your presence. Yeah, you just build this deeper and deeper connection with whatever is coming up for you as stuckness, and you know how to, after a while, you just know how to connect with it. And through KI, I could also, coming from a very traumatic background, I knew myself and life and others only through self-hatred, abuse, you know, although coming from an awareness, like non-dual background, like Advaita awareness, awakening background, you know, being awake to presence, still I couldn't see that I was operating through self-hatred and abuse, and saw everything through the glasses of abuse, if you know what I mean, because of the unprocessed traumas that I had. And so I didn't see that I was operating through this self-hatred, basically just hating my experience. I was hating what I felt, and etc. Maybe you can relate to that. Like that's a form of disconnect, right? From the body mind because of the trauma. And so through KI, I learned and discovered this deeper connection with everything. When I started, I did it through wanting to get rid of whatever I felt, or so with KI. But after a while, it just dropped because I could just see like, oh my God, this girl went through a lot of shit, and it just turned around. And from then on, through KI, I just wanted to connect with everything that was happening in me. It's like you see someone like being really upset and desperate, and I just wanted to know what happened to that girl, so I learned to connect with it in a very compassionate and loving way through a very deep curiosity. I just wanted to understand what happened to me and what it caused in my system and what I went through, how it affected me, and I just wanted to understand my feelings and how I was functioning. I was just a huge open space to that after that shift. Like, yeah, this connection with myself just went deeper and deeper with KI. And that's the connection, of course, that I missed in childhood with my parents, right? So I learned it through KI to connect with myself in that way. It's hard to put it into words. It all happened just by itself through the work, spontaneously, yet very consciously, through this presence. And even the recognition of this presence that connects all of us, this sweetness, this aliveness. And even this became clearer for me through this work, through this inner connectedness. And because it became alive in me, I felt less dependent on others, because I didn't know connection because of the trauma, unprocessed trauma. And so as I went deeper, this connection was just there. And through this connection, I could see that I don't really need anything from anyone in some way. If you need, before that, I operated from this feeling of lack, deficiency, because the connection wasn't there with mom and dad. And so I was operating from this, I need something, I need love, I have to be taken care of, I'm alone, I need someone, because I couldn't see that. It was just automatic. And after going deep into the work and through the work, I could just process that. And this deep connection came alive in me, from where it's just doesn't make sense anymore. And yeah, so this is for me, this is I guess the deep connection to myself, with myself, if it makes sense. Even saying connection means like duality for the mind or something that I couldn't find with spiritual teachings, with Advaita and other things. Even though I felt it, I couldn't really understand it on a deep human level or in the experience, like in the visceral experience. I couldn't catch that somehow because of the unconscious self-repression and unprocessed traumas in my body. So it came with KI. Yeah, question in the chat from Philip. How important is being awake to presence for this work? Have you had that awakening prior to starting this work? I haven't had that non-dual awakening yet. I think I just responded to that. Was it satisfying, Philip, what I just said? I didn't see your question.
Yes, I guess. Well, I mean, so you had this awakening to presence prior to starting the KI work, right?
Yeah, but mostly it was in a mental state or something, because I couldn't go into the body, if it makes sense.
Yeah, because I haven't even had this awakening to presence yet, and I have a lot of trouble sitting down for KI work, and I have this feeling that it has to do with me not having enough presence. Like my thoughts just always take me to other places. And so there was kind of this feeling in me that maybe I need to tackle this presence part first before really going into this embodiment work. And from what I hear from most of the people from KI, so like Scott, you, Alina, like you all had your non-dual awakening prior to starting KI. So
Yes,
it feels
make
to me like
sure
it's necessary.
yeah. No, it's not necessary. Just make sure that your mind doesn't use this information to bypass or avoid the work, because the presence is already there in a way because you started KI, right? Or you are interested about the work, and it's a presence-based somatic processing method. Doesn't mean that you have to have a prior presence to start the work. I guess, what is presence for me? When I listen to you, for me, it's like presence feeling into the body, right? If I feel into the body, I feel present. If I can't do that, it means there is resistance towards feeling into the body. So what we work here, that's what I feel when I listen to you, is the resistance towards feeling into the body in different ways. I don't want to go deep here. And that should be inquired into. That part should be really met and inquired into skillfully, that part, that resistance that doesn't want to feel into the body and be present in the body. Because as I said, yeah, I had the awakening experience before, like everything is connected, this oneness experience, but it stayed on the mental level because I didn't feel present in my body at all. Like it was completely cut off. My mind was like completely, how do you say it in English? Separated, that's not the word, but separated from my body, so to speak, because of the unprocessed stuff, the trauma and pain that I didn't want to feel in the body. I didn't know that I didn't want to feel it. But that's why the recognition of presence, whatever that means, stayed on the mental level, because I was afraid to feel into the body. So that part really should be looked at because of this reason, because KI gives it to you. Avoidance and resistance towards feeling into the body. Yeah. And it solved it for me, that I wasn't aware of that. And then I felt, and when I started to inquire into it, I felt more and more present in the body. And then sometimes back into the mental state, because again, like, oh, I don't want to feel it. And then I inquired into it again. So that's what I can say about that this part should be looked at very skillfully, to making this mechanism conscious, because it runs so deep. It's old that we operate and live through emotional repression, if you know what I mean, that we don't feel through the body, we are through the mind. It's like the collective normal to operate through a shut down body, not feeling through the body. And so this is the thing that should be looked at here to learn how to work with it.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. It's just that it seems to me that there is like resistance on the level of the body and also resistance on the level of the mind. And it appears to me that if you have already got the presence of the mind, then half of the resistance is already dissolved, and it makes it much easier to go into the embodiment stuff. I know you're going to say now this is me bypassing, but I don't think it
That
is,
didn't
because
come to my mind now.
Sorry?
It didn't come to my mind now.
Okay, yeah. No, because I've actually really tried it over and over and over again. And there's just like the mind part of me that is resisting and that's taking me away from the KI practice is so overwhelmingly strong. And I feel like I have the double the resistance because I have the body and the mind. So there's just extreme either resistance or numbness, or I can't even sit down. Like it won't even let me sit down to do KI. I cannot even sit down and do the first store stuff because I don't even get to that point because my mind takes me away from it first.
Yes, because you don't want to do it, right? So, you know, that's the point where I just want to facilitate you for you to see what I was saying. But I can't do it here because it's an info webinar. But just by listening to you, especially this last part, it started to happen in me. Like that's the point where I want to facilitate you to bring it up and to see this that doesn't want to go there. And that's totally normal. That's not bad. That's yeah. So there is a limitation here in this group because it's an info webinar, but I'm really curious about what you're saying, and I would just dive deep into it through working together a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for asking. Because I could say, you know, like you haven't had that non-dual awakening yet. There is no non-dual awakening. It's just being present, you know, and just recognizing that you were in the mind, not you, but in general, you know. And I could say, like, whenever you want, just go to those practices, presence practices, or go to those non-dual teachers who guide you there into this presence, so the mind can relax, and then you feel this, have this recognition or something that you're present or something. That's good, and we can do anything like this that supports this presence recognition, let's say. These teachers are good at guiding you out of the mind and into presence in your body, and then through that just feeling this, so the mind can just drop. So they are good at these pointings, but it's just short term. But it's good for that, for your body to have this experience, you know. But you can do this, anyone can do this, but also I just want to add that with this, the resistance mechanism, it's not going to solve the resistance mechanism. So you can go to presence practices and have this experience to stabilize your stuff in that, but it doesn't change the fact that you still have to work with the resistance towards feeling into the body and those things through the resistance. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. It's just that, you know, I guess the awareness part is like the first dimension of those 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't even got that covered. And that's why like my foundation isn't even there to do the 2nd or 3rd dimension, because there's such turmoil going on. And I was just wondering if it's just a coincidence that all you facilitators have had mind awakening first. Is that just coincidence, or maybe it's a prerequisite?
Maybe it's a coincidence, because I know facilitators who haven't had that, and they had this through KI, and I have clients who had this awakening experience during session. Like there was an example, for example, that's what came to my mind. There was this lady with deep traumas, like really traumatized system, living her entire life in fear, just like I did. And we did the repression inquiries, and so presence was like something unknown for her because of the trauma and the fear that was operating in her system all her life, you know. And so we were doing the repression inquiries, and she just could go through this, and then she felt like without fear, and she just felt like, oh wow, that's a different experience. And she was crying, you know, I never had that. And the turmoil was gone through the repression inquiry process. And she said, like, now I just want to be with this. I just want, and I just left the session, you know. I told her, just be with this, just nurture this as long as you want, just really be with this. If you just want to sit here for 5 hours, just do this, you know. Just, that's the awakening. That's the presence that you were looking for, but you couldn't feel because of the turmoil blinding your mind or something. And then she was just sitting with it and just nurtured it, you know. So that comes out of the process itself also. I see it with people. I work with many people. I see that it comes this awakening or presence comes up for them through the work, because they process. Because until the repression is there strongly, you're unconsciously, everything is focused on that suffering in the body. And when you go through that, open that, and it's gone, then you feel like, you know. And I was also crying, you know, when she had that experience, because, oh my God, I can relate, you know, like I desired this my entire life. Viscerally, I was like desiring or lacking this, or I was hungry for that. And when I felt a shift through the work, I felt like, oh, I'm in my body and it's okay, and I feel present. And I was like, I'm calm, and something like this. It's just okay. I was looking around, I'm just okay. I'm just present, and it's just okay, you know? So that's what came to my mind. That I'm really touched also when I work with people, and finally they have this experience, you know, without having like a regular presence practice or something. They just work with the repression, and then they find their place in their body, you know. It's like finally sitting on the throne or something. And yeah, having that experience with that much trauma is just the proof for me that it works somehow. And it's a touching experience for me also, when they have this presence, and then they don't want anything else, just to be with this. But that's different than when you have the turmoil, when you have the repression, and you seek for the presence, and you can't find it because you are turning away from the right track, right? So it's not for you, Philip. I'm just talking in general about KI and the presence that it can, this recognition can, or feeling of presence can come through the work also. And I don't know you, that's why I talk in general, because yeah.
Yeah, I no, it's all good. No worries. Thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for speaking. But I feel I know your voice. I'm sure we met in a meeting or something, you know?
Yeah, it's possible. I've been here for like since April last year. So like,
Oh yeah, okay, then I'm sure.
some months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions regarding the mentorship course or KI or me? Because I'm the mentor during that course. So, but I think I shared everything about myself, you know. That's important.
Hey, Serena, it's John. Just a quick question for you about the the group mentorship. I know sounds like it's Mondays, 9 a.m. Pacific. That is probably not going to change. Is that kind of set in stone? In other words, is there any flexibility on that depending on the preference of the group members or anything like that? Or is that pretty locked in?
What times could work for you? Because I can ask, because two people are already have already signed up, so I can ask them if any other time could work for them. But for this, I have to know, and maybe you can send me an email what
Yeah.
times could work for you, and so then I can ask them.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And and remind me just how long is that session, the group meeting on the Mondays?
2
2 hours?
hours.
Okay.
If you guys are really hungry, then it can go like 2.5 hours, but not more. But
Okay,
of course,
got
you
it.
can leave earlier. If it passes 2 hours, then you can just leave. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I'll send you an email. Sounds good.
Yeah, send me an email. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, so 2 more spots are available. I receive like a lot of inquiries around it. People want to book, but they are still like inquiring about the mentorship. So yeah. Let's see. who's going to be the first or the next two people. It's so exciting, right? For people
So,
come together.
sorry, so is this something you're going to be doing on an ongoing basis? Or you're not sure?
The mentorship course, the small group.
Yeah.
Probably I will see after that one. I want
Mhm.
to, I think I want to run like 2 mentorship courses per year.
Mhm.
That's my thinking now. Maybe it will be more, but for now, maybe it's only 2 because I'm involved in other projects and programs and other stuff. So for now, it's going to be like 2 per year. Yes. So the next one, if it starts, it's going to be after the summer, I guess. And of course, the one-on-one mentorship course, we can start it anytime.
Okay.
There is no starting date. Yeah. But that's not small group, that's one-on-one mentorship course.
Great.
Thank you, Philip. Ciao, ciao. It was good to hear your voice, familiar voice. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, or if the small group if 4 people comes together, we can just come together and find a time that works for everyone, I guess. Yeah. So I'm in Central European time zone. Yeah, and the time has to work for everyone, for those who are in the US and for those who are in Europe. But usually you find a time. So yeah, 9 a.m. PST is 6 a.m. PM here. So yeah, I guess it has to, the latest we can start is 9 a.m. PST. Because that's 6 p.m. Yeah. Because after 8 my mind starts to, like fall into a different dimension of sleeping. Fading out. Yeah. Yeah, so the latest we can start is 9 p.m., 9 a.m. PST. Any other questions? Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Serena, I have a question.
Yeah.
How would you encourage someone to decide between like the group mentorship or the one-on-one? I'm sort of endlessly wrestling with the decision around like the best way to train, and whether would I hide in a small group? Do I need more of the connection, with others to really learn this thoroughly? So just any tips on that would be appreciated.
It depends on what you need, I guess. It's not an easy question to answer in general, because it really depends on the individual. Like, what is it that you need? If you feel that you really need like group support, like a group energy, that people are around you, and for you it's easier to stay with the work and the process, and you feel that it's good for you if you can connect with others. So if you feel that the group dynamic or the family dynamic support is that you really need, then I would suggest to go with the group mentorship. If you feel it's the one-on-one attention that you really need, yeah, then I guess it's better to choose if you need more one-on-one attention and you really want to be focused with the mentor, with your mentor, and learn through that one-on-one connection, then maybe I suggest to choose the one-on-one mentorship course. It really depends on your needs, and maybe just think about that, what you need, what you want, the group setting, or the one-on-one attention. One-on-one mentorship means that, of course, it's not 2 hours, it's 90 minutes, it's 1.5 hours, and within these sessions, I can train you, like we can have a chat around context and tools, and we can like clear up everything around the tools and the skills and how to use them. And there is also like a lot of time for me to facilitate you and explain through the process itself what we are doing and the tools and everything. So it's like a lot of one-on-one attention and one-on-one connection and exchange through the one-on-one mentorship course. Of course, you can still come to the monthly group meeting also with me, but the tools and the transferring the tools happens like really through this one-on-one connection. Yeah, I guess you just have to know what you need. It's different.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, it helps to hear a little more about how the one-on-one would look. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Serena.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add to that in small group, you've got contact with other people possible. And because we do screen work, it's not we're going into a room and physically being with each other in person. If that connection piece is really important to you, for me, coming here and feeling alone was a big thing. So having others be available to me was really important. If that dynamic helps you learn better, it's like learning a new language that's connected to through the body, identified by the mind, right? So the one-on-one stuff is great, but then you're not doing that every day. You don't have access necessarily to that person as often maybe as you'd like. Just considering those things and the learning, the format with which in which we are learning, which is different than a classroom. That's all I wanted to share. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. When I was in training with Scott, I missed the group setting. But later, when I started to join with others, when I started to exchange with others, then I was like, oh, that was the part that I was missing. In the same time, I really needed that one-on-one connection with Scott, like someone who knows all my shit inside out, who knows me inside out in a way, you know? But I was missing the group setting also. Yeah, so yeah. But just to choose one-on-one mentorship because you are avoidant to people, not you, Benjamin, just talking in general, because you want to avoid participating in group because you don't want to connect with others and this thing is there, then it's better to choose a group setting, you know, because then it's easier to overcome that. Yeah.
Yeah, Serena, because for some of us, the isolation we already have had before we even got here, even though we're around others,
yeah,
you know, in our lives, is huge. And so learning something new where we're actually learning these deep programs and structures that we have is so huge and can feel even more alone and isolating, even though we're here in a format. So having for me, having a place to go every week or every other week was really important in that training piece for
Yeah.
me. It really helped me. You know, if I was really struggling and I was still pretty new and I didn't feel comfortable contacting the others in the group yet, I still knew I had this day coming up, this time coming up that was going to be there, where I could take this. And you can always ask people in the membership area things,
Yeah.
but that can be a challenging area to receive stuff. So just, yeah, for me, having something, an anchor of sorts to look forward to be with was really important.
Yeah, and again, through the small group mentorship, you also receive like one-on-one attention, more one-on-one attention, through my trainees who are going to give you these 3 sessions. And again, if for some reason you need it, you can have discounted sessions with me, but I don't think you are going to need that after those lot of exchange with other people, especially after you gain some skills, you start to facilitate each other, you know, practice the tools together. And it's not that you have to like participate in everything in the members area, in all groups and having a lot of friends, but I also have a few friends, but I'm in touch with them, you know, like they became friends through the work and we support each other when we have to talk, when we are stuck a little bit and we don't see what's coming up, you know, so we became friends also. So I also have like a few friends. It's not like that I go to a group and everyone is a friend and deep connection, but I have a few. So that's the goal with the small group for me, that you can become friends, or then when you start to exchange with others in the members area, through that also you can find your friends. And these are like deeper connections, supportive connections, and yeah, something like this. So that's very good. Because I also noticed I had trainees, you know, who were really dependent on me for a while, and they were like, it was hard for them to stay with the work because we did the one-on-one, and they couldn't really grasp because it wasn't a group setting, so they couldn't really grasp that you really have to participate in the groups and exchange with others. And so they stayed like dependent on me and and on this connection with me, and it was okay. After a while we inquired into it and we processed what was causing this. But if you are an avoidant and you want to have one-on-one, then you have to deal with this resistance of going to groups, being triggered through the groups, and then not processing it, and then you just believe it's not for you. And yeah, then it's hard to grasp what I was also explaining during this meeting, that you have to be in the flow and you have to take advantage of all the support pillars that the mentorship gives you, and this organization and the community through the mentorship. Yeah. Any other questions, or anyone would like to share? Yeah. Okay. So if no other question comes, I think that was it for today. And I'm going to share this recording also in the members area and on social media, on my social media feed. And yeah, I think that's all for now. It was very nice to meet all of you, and thank you for coming. I didn't expect many people to come, but so I'm happy that it was a bigger group. That's a bigger group for me. And yeah, if you have any other questions that will come up for you, just send me and drop me an email to Serena at awarenessembodied.com. That's my private email. Yeah, I type it here in the chat. That's my email address. Just save it. If anything else pops up for you or you're not sure about something, just drop me an email. Yeah, so 2 more spots available. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you for coming. And I really appreciate your presence here in this group. I really enjoyed being with you and sharing about KI. And yeah, thank you for coming. I enjoyed connecting with you. And see you later in other groups. Okay, ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao, Paul.